they made it. After a year which saw many of us questioning whether the season would even continue when Corona-chan decided to unleash her ungodly amount of depression on us, but they did it, with specific bubbles for every team. It will be weird to see limited fans at the Grand Final and State of Origin, but it has to be done. Now, it's finals time, albeit pushed back a couple of weeks. Let's see the 8 teams left looking to stake their claim to Providence Summon. The Green Machine hasn't skipped a beat since last year's Grand Final, where they were allegedly fucked over. What has really impressed me about Canberra this year? Papali. He's finally taken that next step into a true leader of a franchise. He's always had the potential to do so, and I'm really happy to see it fulfilled. Guys like Jared Croker, Nickel Klokstad, Jordan Rapana, Jack Whiten, there aren't many weaknesses in that team, especially since they've looked very convincing while somehow managing to fly under everybody's radar. This team is more dangerous than people think. The only thing that could truly stop them is themselves. When they come out as themselves, they can beat any team in the league. If they come out flat, it might be back to Parliament House for them, especially since two key pieces to their core in Nick Kotrick and John Bateman are both leaving. This needs to be the year for them. There won't be a supposed 6 again to blame this time. All I can do is laugh. My prediction and assessment of the Sharks initially at the start of the season was that they were going to barely make the finals only to be smacked around by a real team. They've somehow played down to their competition more than the 2018 Pittsburgh Steelers and 2018 Washington Wizards, almost losing to bottom feeders like the Broncos and Bulldogs, then playing a tight competitive game against the Eels, and then almost losing to the Dragons. This team has got the talent to beat top teams, but they play up to competition and down to their competition. This team does not deserve this 8th spot, and that's why they'll be a one and done again. Looks like throwing $3 million into 5 players didn't work after all, Cronulla. It's pegged for mediocrity, which the farm system producing great youth like Jerome Luai, Tyrone May and Isaiah Yao. You also have your legitimate try-poacher in George Jennings. And Cleary is now looking like a generational talent. An 18-1-1 record has really staked your case for being heavy premiership contenders. Even better, you're coming up against the Roosters in the first round like 2014. Only this time the seeding is swapped. You are now the minor premiers. If there's a time to capitalise, it's now, but here's my warning to Raiders fans. Do not get your hopes up. The Raiders have choked before in the finals, and they might do it again. This might be their final shot at another premiership with this core. Smith isn't getting any younger. Bellamy has had a row with ownership and might be run out of town, and Smith might be joining him, wherever he leaves to, as he has gone on record of saying that he will not play for any other coach other than Bellamy. Addo-Carr and Vunivalu are both leaving in the off-season as well. In terms of this season for the Melbourne Storm, it's been the box standard Melbourne Storm. The young guys that they've brought through the farm system have looked extremely promising, in particular Ryan Pappenhausen, and their main core needs no explanation. This window has been fruitful, but the taste has worn away since 2017. You better make it happen, Melbourne, otherwise it'll be, yes, another summer of discontent. I had this team going to the 3rd round at minimum. That was until Latrell Mitchell suffered a season-ending injury in a blowout win over the Eels. That injury has pretty much derailed any premiership hopes. They could still surprise me, but that massive-sized hole in the back line and front row isn't convincing me very much. The rest of their guys look decent at least. Alex Johnston has been his try-scoring best and has been rewarded with a 2-year extension. They could still surprise all of us, it's what they do, but I don't know, they're not convincing me very much. No, I'm not salty that the Rabbitohs beat the Roosters 60-8, you shut up! I don't need to lecture you on the talent this team boasts. Every question I've had about the Eels this season has been solved. I wondered if Mitch Moses could take that next step into being a leader. He's now competing for a potential New South Wales Blues jersey. I had questions if Sivo could continue his form. He's been his wrecking ball self. I was skeptical whether their depth could step up. Their farm system has produced some great young prospects for the bench. The only question remaining, their lack of recent success in the finals. If they fail to make the third round yet again, certain heads will have to roll. I'm glaring right at you, Brad Arthur. If I've said it once, I'll say it again. I just don't think they'll have enough for a three-peat. Coming from a fan of this team, the Roosters' goal line defense has looked really spotty this season in certain games, and they've been dealing with injuries rivaling the bubonic plague. I just don't see it happening. Reverse jinxing? Reverse jinxing, don't fail me now. These finals look pretty difficult to analyse. There are multiple teams fighting for spots in the big dance, but I think the two teams getting their chance in the grand final will be the Raiders and Storm. They've honestly just seemed the most consistent and dangerous teams to me this year. You could honestly make a case for every team other than the Sharks or Knights, however. Go fight for glory, you 8 bastards.